Hey, what's up? Um, Based on the title, I just kind of wanted to talk about something like I myself and maybe some other people have struggled with, and maybe something you didn't really expect when joining the military. That topic being loneliness. If you see me look off to the side, it's because I have my notes up. Something a little different about this video. I'm actually recording during the day. It's not like 2 in the morning, and I got bored and I wanted to record something. We have natural light today, so that's cool, I guess. But yeah, basically, I just kind of wanted to talk about my experience with like loneliness in the military because it's not something you really expect when you join. Everyone kind of pictures the military as like a brotherhood, which it is. You have this brotherhood and you're surrounded by people all the time, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get lonely. You could be surrounded by people all the time and still be lonely because you might not actually know these people. They might just be like work associates or people that you like very surface level know, and that doesn't really like give a human what it needs for connection and like curing loneliness. Just because you know someone surface level doesn't mean you really know them. But whatever. Um, yeah, like I said, like you expect when you join, you got these like field operations, you got deployments, you're working out with your guys all the time. You think you wouldn't really struggle with loneliness. And if you're new, you're in the barracks, you might have like one or two roommates. Like there's really not a whole lot of alone time. And you would think you wouldn't get lonely because you're surrounded by these people like all the time. Everyone always says the Marines are like a brotherhood, which they are. You picture like lifelong friends, which you will make. You'll make some along the way, but not in the way that like media portrays it, especially nowadays in peacetime. A lot of those like lifelong friendships are built over like experienced trauma together. We're in peacetime right now, or at least I am. I know there's things going on, but I'm not involved with it, and none of my boys are involved with it, so we can't go like trauma bond over these things. Like, yeah, I've met some really cool people and I met people that I'll probably keep in contact with for a really long time, but maybe not the way like the media portrays it. And you think you'll never be alone. But in my last 4 years, I've definitely had some of like the loneliest nights of my life for sure. You're away from your friends back home, at least for me, because I'm in Okinawa. You're away from these people back home. You're away from maybe some friends or girlfriend or boyfriend or something you developed in the past, and you're surrounded by like completely new people. I think another thing that a lot of people don't understand is like people leave units. Like contracts are only like I mean, they can be from like 2 to 7 years long, but most likely it's going to be like 4 years long. And when you show up, you have these people that you either showed up with or got here like a little before you, maybe even a little after you. They're all going to leave that unit. So you're going to make all these really great friends, and then they're just going to leave. Sure, you might see them down the line, but for the time being, they're not there anymore. And you could be in a position where, like I'm at, where I'm like planning to leave this unit. Everyone that I came here with, or like anyone that I made really good friends with, is kind of gone now. And I'm in a weird position, especially being in E5. I can't just go like hang out with the new people. It's weird, I'm supposed to be like top dog and be like their boss almost. Like it's hard to go out and make friends. Like I'll be walking through the barracks. Sergeant is also like a really lonely rank when you don't mess with the other sergeants because you can't super be friends with your corporals. You can, um, but there's probably not that many of them. And then you can't really go and be friends with like the lower enlisted. Like I said, you can, but it might be perceived kind of wrong, or I mean, it is kind of weird. Yeah, so basically, like all these people that you know, like they're going to leave eventually, and that's kind of where I'm at now, and that's why I'm talking about this. It's because everyone that I came here with, or that I knew when I was a lower enlisted, is gone now. They're off to like bigger and better things. And you think you would text like all the time. You've done countless things with these dudes. You've been on like field ops. You've been on deployments. You've done all this training together, and then they just leave. You think they'd still like hit you up and stuff. They do. I still talk to them every now and then. We have like a group chat, but they're also doing their own things. They've moved on to different things and they have to put all of their focus into that. You'll never forget the people from your first duty station. Yeah, you'll never forget those dudes, but it's not going to be the same way it was when you were all either like lower enlisted or maybe like a senior lower and they were just freshly picking up. Like you're not going to have those friends again, especially the lower enlisted bond. yeah, the higher you get in rank, the lonelier I would say it gets, especially once you hit like E6, because then you're just kind of like the lance corporal of the staff ranks, and you can be friends with other staff. I don't know, like I haven't really experienced that because I'm an E5, but E5 is also a really lonely rank, especially if you're not big friends or like fans of the other E5s in your unit. Yeah. And okay, this is another big thing. The barracks. Living around people all the time doesn't automatically make you close. I know a ton of people. I know everyone in my unit, except for maybe like the super fresh guys going out. Like I'll walk through the hallways, like, oh, what's up, Harper? Oh, what's up, man? Like that kind of thing. But that's all it is. It's very surface level. Just because I live around all these people all the time doesn't automatically make us close. A lot of the relationships you build are built around work and are very surface level. It's a lot of just like, oh, hey, how you doing? Or just like yapping at work to pass the time. It's not like real actual connection that builds to a relationship, like a friend relationship where you actually like know someone, they know you, you guys can hang out and I don't know. There's a difference between just a surface level friendship and like an acquaintance and like actually having a friend that you can call a friend. Like I think in my 4 years I've maybe actually attained like one friend. So maybe that's just me because I'm kind of a weird guy. But maybe some other people would agree. I think another reason a lot of the relationships are surface level is like everyone puts on. I think especially in my unit or an artillery unit, every dude just kind of puts on like the yeah I'm good, I'm all good face. When in reality, like not everyone is good all the time. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I won't be doing good. Someone asks, I'm like, yeah, I'm good, bro. It's whatever. That's not how you build a connection with someone. You build connection by like not being good all the time and having someone to like actually talk to about it. You know, it cuts deeper than just like surface level. This person, you're emotionally vulnerable with someone, they're emotionally vulnerable with you. That's how you develop a connection and an actual friendship. They don't need to see you at your best all the time because no one is at their best all the time. That's ridiculous to say if someone is at their best all the time. So being able to be like emotionally vulnerable with people is kind of a hard thing to do nowadays because especially like where I'm at, it's super easy to just put on the I'm good face. You're not supposed to really have feelings, especially as like a dude, even as like a Marine. You know, you're supposed to be this big, badass, tough guy. Ironic coming from me, I'm not very big, but you're supposed to be like a big, badass, tough guy. Not everyone is a big badass tough guy all the time. It's fucking hard to do that all the time. You know, people struggle with things. They have mental health issues. They might have like a drinking problem. They maybe been depressed. They've been sad, or maybe they're even feeling like lonely. And you can't really go to a ton of people about it. You don't want to accept defeat by either talking to a friend. You don't want to feel like a burden to them because you're coming to them with your problems. You don't want to make it a big deal by like going to chaps or using one of those programs. And it's a weird position to be in. Everyone just like wants to be okay all the time when they're not super okay, which just leads to a lot of surface level like acquaintances, like no real friends. Everyone is like afraid to be vulnerable with each other and actually comfort and be there for someone else. We preach it all the time. You want to be there for someone else, but no one actually wants someone to be there for them because you don't want to feel like a burden or you don't want them to like have to go through what you're going through or feel like they have to help you out. You want to be able to just like internalize it and like push through it, which is super toxic, but that leads to a ton of loneliness. Like not being able to talk about these things makes a lot of people in the military very, very lonely all the time. Another thing, a lot of people are really busy all the time. And even if you're busy, you're at work, you're with these people all the time. Like I said, just because you're working with these people all the time doesn't automatically make you their friend. You can be surrounded by people all day and still feel lonely because of everything that's going on in your head or like everything around you. So just because you're at work with all these people all the time and you're going through this stuff with them doesn't automatically make them your friend. Sure, you can like talk with them, you can pass the time throughout the day, but that doesn't mean they know you. That doesn't mean you know them. And that doesn't mean there's like any actual connection there outside of passing time or just surface level conversation or just making jokes to pass time. Ah, yeah, and then this is my other talking point. Like becoming an NCO, suddenly you have all these people. When you're lower enlisted, you can kind of be friends with anybody. You know, like you have all. There's a lot more lower enlisted than there are like NCOs and SAF NCOs. That's the whole It's the way it's all set up, you know? There's not that many. Well, there's a lot of NCOs, but like when you're a troop, you have all these troops all the time that you're surrounded with. You either have roommates or you're going to work. You're all going through the suck together because everyone knows the lower enlisted gets like the bitch work, and all of a sudden you become an NCO. Now you have to lead these guys. There's fewer NCOs, and the higher you get, like corporal is pretty good. I'd say it's pretty easy to still be somewhat involved as a corporal, especially if you're promoting above your peers because you were peers with them and now you're NCO. And that you can still kind of be friends with them off work. It creates some issues. Maybe I'll go into that another time. But as an NCO, there's a smaller pool of people you can actually be friends with, and that limits the pool of like who's actually interesting, who's worth your time, who do you actually want to talk to. And then it gets worse when you promote to sergeant or E5. Even less sergeants, smaller pool, more weird people, and more people you may not super want to like get along with or like even develop the opportunity to get to know them or have them get to know you. It just makes you feel alone. Like I said, just fewer peers to talk to. I've spent some time talking about like what makes people lonely in the military, all these things that like pile on and why people don't want to talk to other people. So I kind of wanted to talk about some things that actually help with the loneliness because I spent countless nights. I'm in a room by myself. I spent countless nights. Doom scrolling gets boring. I've already worked out for the day. There's no movies I really want to watch. Like I'm just sitting there, like staring at my ceiling, not knowing what to do. Like I don't really have anyone to reach out to. I don't know if I want to like hang out with someone. I don't know if I just like want to talk to someone. But here's some things that actually help with loneliness. So my first one is going to be like random late night conversations. Look, I'm going to be honest. Drinking is a huge part of the military. I'm not a huge advocate for drinking. I think it's bad for you. That doesn't mean I haven't drank in the past. But those random late night conversations in like a random barracks party, once everyone starts kind of phasing out and it's just like you and a couple buddies, you're listening to music, drinks are flowing, maybe you're watching TV, watching a movie, and y'all are just sitting there yapping, those conversations are going to stick with you for the rest of your life. All right. I think that's a canon event for a lot of people in the military is just like chilling in someone's barracks room, drinking, talking about anything, talking about your issues, talking about work the next day, talking about an officer you don't like, maybe talking about a staff NCO who's pissing you off or something like that. Being able, even if alcohol is involved, it loosens you up. You still get those thoughts out there. Maybe you overshare and you wake up and you're like, man, I probably shouldn't have said those things. You already said those things. You already made yourself vulnerable, and you're probably not the only one too. Someone else probably said some dumb shit, and now you guys, you know that about each other. It helps build a foundation to a relationship. Should a foundation to a relationship be built on alcohol and late night barracks conversations? Probably not. Probably not according to psychology. Has it led to some of the greatest friendships of my life? Yes. Yes, it has. Another thing, going to the gym together or just like working out or anything like that. When you're a troop or like a corporal or something like that, you're leading PT for your sections. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about forced group PT. I mean, after hours, you get your boy and you go do something. Good for both of you. I don't know. It just helps, instead of going and doing this thing by yourself, you got someone else to do it for you. And if they're lazy, you can like, use the whole thing of like, dude, we got to go work out. It's good for you. That's something that also helps. Me and my buddy go to the gym quite often. Another thing in like, especially Okinawa is like beach days. I spend a lot of time at the beach. All right. Outside of like swimming or maybe you're drinking, you're grilling up some hot dogs, y'all are forced to just like sit there and stare at the water and talk about anything that's coming to your mind. Or you just sit there silently. That can also be good as well. Just getting out of your room, actually doing things with people is going to help a ton. And doing things that are good for you also helps as well. Yes, drinking in your barracks can be awesome sometimes, especially when you're hanging out with the boys. But getting outside, doing some cool shit, seeing some mountains, seeing some beaches, fishing, climbing, mountain biking, running, anything like that, it builds like a positive relationship with someone else, outside of just like chilling and watching a movie or drinking or anything like that. It helps build like actual connection, I would say. Doing a hobby with someone else. Maybe you got some weird niche hobby. Maybe there's someone out there that has the same hobby. Maybe you play like piano or guitar. Maybe someone else plays another instrument. You'd be like, holy shit, dude, I play guitar. You play the drums. we should play some time. Finding out people's hobbies and getting to know them, and then being able to either incorporate it into your life or like expand on it if you have a similar hobby. A hobby could also just be like video games, dude. I know tons of sections who just like after work or on the weekends just chill and play video games together. Sure, you guys are doing something with your hands and you're probably more focused on the game, but you're doing it together. That's huge, right? Actually doing something with your buddies. Also, I have this one written down, just asking like someone or asking your boys to like go grab food. That one works. You guys could go to like the chow hall together. That one doesn't always super work. People eat on different times. Maybe someone actually just wants some like alone time. All right. But asking people isn't gonna hurt. I've been that guy before. I'm gonna be honest. I'll ask my buddies to like hang out. Ghosted. It does suck sometimes, but at least ask. You're like, oh, I'm bored today. Let's see what people are doing. Let's see if anyone wants to do anything. And if no one wants to do anything, also no trouble in doing it like by yourself. But if you're feeling lonely, yes, you can do that thing by yourself, but we're talking about getting other people involved and trying to feel less lonely. But you should also be very comfortable with yourself. That doesn't mean you need to spend all of your time alone and every hobby or every interest you have to go out and just do it by yourself. Oh, I forgot where I was going with that. I had a good thought. I lost it. I gotta start writing this stuff down instead of just yapping. Um, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Basically, my ending point is like real friendships aren't built during like motivational speeches or just built from doing random nonsense at work. It's built from like ordinary moments. You have a hobby, invite someone along. Man, I'm going for this hike. Man, I'm going snorkeling. I'm going diving. I'm going to just go to the beach and sit there and read a book or something. Bro, you trying to come along? You want to go to the mall and go shopping? You might get ghosted 1,000 times. But eventually, or one of those people is going to want to do something. It's also about reaching out to like the right people and surrounding yourself with the right people. If you've got a buddy or just someone you work with, you're thinking about being friends with them, trying to hang out with them and that kind of thing, and all they do is like sit and like drink in their room, it's probably not someone that's going to be super awesome to hang out with all the time. I mean, maybe you could talk to that person and try and get them out of doing that, but a lot of people are stuck in that loop of like, oh, it's the weekend, I was working hard all week, I'm just going to sit in my room, play video games, drink, watch a movie, which is how a lot of people relax. And I'm not saying you can't do that, but if you've got a buddy who's doing that every single weekend, maybe don't hang out with them all the time. That's kind of a boring lifestyle. You want someone that at least does something. Someone's got to have something interesting about them. If someone's whole personality is like drinking and chilling and doing nothing, why surround yourself with that person? You want to surround yourself with people that do like cool shit. They don't got to do cool shit all the time, but at least go outside and do something. Maybe they fish. Maybe they play piano. Maybe you're just trying to get into a hobby. Find someone who's into that hobby. Like I'm trying to get into motorcycling. I want a motorcycle. So I got a dude down the hall who has a motorcycle. I'm like, bro, you should teach me how. Like you should let me backpack sometime. Like get me involved in this because I'm interested in that. So find interesting people. Not everyone's going to want to do something all the time. Get comfortable with yourself, but being able to recognize a good person, doing cool things with them, late night drunk conversations, that's how you're going to build relationships. I'm not saying the lonely days are just gone forever. They're never going to fade away. I have nights just staring at my ceiling out of pure boredom. No one wants to do anything. Phone dry as hell. Nothing going on. But you at least have to like reach out or try and do something interesting. Another cure to your boredom could just be like picking up a new hobby. Or not boredom. Your loneliness could just be like picking up a new hobby. Yeah, you're going to be lonely and probably alone doing that new hobby, but it's something. Do something to get your mind off of it, because what else are you going to do? Just sit in your room and stare at the ceiling? That's super depressing. No one wants to do that. Just stare at their ceiling. That's how you get stuck in like head loops or like mindset loops where you're just like, man, this sucks. Man, this is boring. Man, I'm lonely. I got nothing going on. Thought I heard someone at my door. So you actually have to find people that are interesting, find hobbies, talk to the right people. It doesn't, yeah, you don't always have to go and do like the craziest thing. You just be like, hey, bro, I'm going to the 24 hour. I'm going to go pick up a 6-pack and like maybe some snacks or whatever. You want to tag along? Sure, bro, I'll tag along. Very simple. Lonely days are still going to be there, but there's ways around them, and there's ways to feel less lonely, right? It's just something I didn't expect when joining a huge brotherhood, a giant frat, basically. I think a lot of people would compare the Marine Corps to a frat, that I would have lonely nights. I just didn't think that would happen. I'm going to be completely honest. All right. Well, that's kind of my take and rant on loneliness. A little more high energy than most of my videos, I guess, towards the end. But, oof, super red. Yeah. Bye.